support in spreading the gospel. First, our missionaries, Thomas and Christine Rogers, who serve with In Faith and who lived in Mount Morris for a number of years, served within this church and beyond in this community until May of last year when they moved to the state of Oregon. And we're looking forward to hearing how God has been using them lately. And after that, we'll see on video an update from Aaron Utecht, our pastor of our church plant, Christ Church in Sterling, Illinois, as they approach 11 months since being sent out from this congregation. First, we'll hear from Thomas and Christine Rogers.
Hello. So I know that some of you guys don't remember us because some of you guys have joined the church or started attending since after we left. But hopefully you guys have had the chance to follow some of what we've been doing from the letters we've sent, and they've been posted downstairs, I see. But we do want to, just give you up-to-date kind of how some of the things have been going for us. Specifically, I wanted to tell you first off about one of the main reasons we moved out there, and I know a lot of people have already come up to me and asked me about it, and that is specifically my health. That was one of the big reasons we moved out to the West Coast, and there's been a significant improvement already noticeably, and we haven't even been able to do all the same things we were doing here locally to try and help. We haven't even gotten all of that yet, and we've only started a couple of the things just recently that have supposed to help. And I've had less than half the number of migraines that have been affecting me out there, less than half. So, yeah. So God leading us out there was obviously what he needed for us. So him leading us that direction, it obviously was where we were supposed to be. Just that huge improvement, and we're seeing even more of a decline in the number and frequency. So it's obviously his leading, and my health is steadily getting better the longer we stay there and the more things we're able to add in. So,
yeah, I'm going to share just a quick update on our ministry. When we initially moved out west, when we lived here, we did a lot of relational ministry, and it was really there's a lot of heaviness that comes with that because when you're building a relationship with someone and sharing Christ, there's a lot of heartache and there's a lot of joy, but it was just pretty taxing on our family. And as our kids were growing older, we kind of wanted to step into a different type of ministry. And so we started doing creative arts as a ministry full-time in the Northwest. And when we first moved out, we thought maybe it would take some time to kind of get things going. And we thought it would take a few months, maybe up to 6 to 8 months, in order for us to finally start doing programs and training in creative arts out there. It actually only took 3 weeks. When we moved out, 3 weeks later, somebody called and said, we need a program for they were doing a work project and they had a children's program. They said, can you guys come do a program for us? And from there, it just kind of kept building. And so we've had kind of this snowball effect where we've done so many trainings and programs already. And some months we've been even, I think, busier than we can handle, and so we're looking forward to growing a larger network of people out there that do some of the same creative arts that we do, so that we'll be able to kind of all work together. So it's been a huge praise that it didn't take us long to get our feet under us, and God has really led the way and shown us pretty clearly kind of what he wants us to do.
So on that, we knew that there was a need there, but we didn't realize that the need would be so apparent to some of the people there as well, that this was a desire for them. But as Christine said, we were going to be stepping away from some relational ministries, and that was one of our goals, is to kind of separate that a little bit and really focus in on the creative arts aspect of our ministry. But because of who we are, some relational ministries just kind of fell in our laps and just kind of happened. And so I am leading a couple of groups that were similar to ones that I was doing here. Some like tabletop gaming type relational ministries. One with a group of unsaved guys that they found out that that I had done that kind of stuff before, and they just asked me to come and join them. And all the guys except for one are unsaved guys and really don't have any other influences in their life that are Christian. And already one of them I've had really, really serious, deep conversations with about Christ, because he just came to me and started asking me questions, because I was the only guy he knew that had any kind of Christian influence in his life. So he wanted to ask questions, because he had never gotten the chance to do that before, because he didn't know anyone like that. So just having that opportunity, being able to spend that time with him, he's like, well, I know you, I trust you, so I'm going to ask you these questions because I don't have anyone else that I feel I can trust and I can ask these questions to. And I feel like I can measure your temperament, and I know you're not going to just start yelling at me or trying to be preachy to me about this. And then there's another group of guys that is a different way of relational ministry, and it's kind of a ministering to those who are in ministry. Actually, it's a group of guys that a really close friend of mine, he doesn't have very many Christian friends, and he's a strong Christian himself, but because of his work schedule, he never gets to go to church on Sundays. And so he came to me and said, I need some way to get together with more Christian men. And so I went and I talked to a couple of guys I knew that had been trying to get together with more Christian men as well, specifically a youth pastor of a local church and a worship leader of a local church, and said, hey, you guys want to get together and just play some games? And I told them my friend needs some more Christian men to be friends with, and they thought, well, maybe we'll just try this out and see how it works. And we've been meeting together for, 8 months, once every week, just to play games. And it really is a great time for us to be able to lift each other up. We can pray for each other about regular things, but at the same time, it's just a great time of fellowship, of men getting together and spending time together in a positive environment. And so it's really, really neat to see that and have that interaction in a positive environment. So it's actually a really neat environment. And we've actually got a couple of younger guys come as well now, so it's kind of got them being influenced as well throughout that as well.
Yeah, so I just want to share really quick a couple of things. I want to share some needs that we're facing and prayer requests we have. And then I also want to share a quick story. So we've been doing creative arts all over the state of Oregon. Kind of, if you know Oregon at all, there's kind of like, there's Eastern Oregon, and then there's the mountains, and then there's Western Oregon. And we mostly are in Western Oregon, in the valley and on the coast. And we were at a church in Portland, which is one of the biggest cities in Oregon, and one of the most unreached. And as we were there, I was doing sign language for one of our programs. And when we first arrived, there was a little girl at the event, and I could tell that she was hearing impaired. She had some pretty sizable hearing aids that she was wearing, and through speaking with her and her mom and talking to them about her needs, it turned out she had about 14% hearing in one ear and 6% in the other. So immediately I start thinking, oh no, I got to get this right. I don't want to be sharing anything or using any signs that are incorrect. And so we started sharing. It was a Christmas program, and I come out to do sign language. And as I'm doing sign language, the little girl knew the song and started signing with me during the program. And then her mother starts signing, and her baby brother starts signing along with me. And it was just an incredible picture to me of people get spoken to in all different kinds of languages. And sometimes it's something very obvious, like sign language. Sometimes it's something not so obvious, like maybe a puppet or a clowning sketch, or just some one-on-one time, like Thomas said, where you don't have to be the pastor. You don't have to be the worship leader. You can be honest about what's really going on. So I think God has just given us that task in the Northwest of speaking different languages. And it's been really awesome. and really powerful in our lives and our family. And I hope that as we stay in our community, that influence, that Christ's influence, will grow where we are. Our needs so far have been really kind of a roller coaster ride. We moved out, and we knew that cost of living was higher out there by a big margin. But we were able to buy a house, so we have a house out there that's ours, which was really cool. God really provided for that. And we have been doing okay financially. We are, as we're getting more used to the area and getting to know, everything costs more out there. And so learning how to not only make do with what God has given us and trust him to keep providing for that, but we are still raising support. And now we have a better idea of specific numbers and things. So if you have any questions about that or want to talk more about that, please come find us afterwards. Or at the picnic, yes, we'll be there. Free food, we're always there. There's 7 of us, so anywhere I can get a good meal. But also, really quick, a prayer request we have. Just really pray for our family. We're still in that transition, of living somewhere new and being somewhere new. And we don't have the same support system that we had here. And that's been really hard. And so I would just ask for your prayers for our family, that we would just continue to come together to make that transition and that it wouldn't drive us apart, but that we would stay close together as a family. So thank you all so much. We appreciate you so much, and we miss you. So.